Um, Commissioners, inside your packet, you'll find your minutes from the work session of October the 26th and your regular session meeting of October the 27th. If you have not had the opportunity, if you will, please take the opportunity between now and tomorrow evenings at the regular meeting to review those minutes. And if there's any additions, deletions, or corrections, please see Ms. Dukes so that those can be taken care of. Agenda item 5 is a public hearing. We have one case. This is a decorative special tax lighting district. Gramercy subdivision out on Old Pine Road is 22 out of 27 lots. Mr. Davenport.
Yes, sir. Just a request to have a public hearing to add a large portion of these lots into the Gramercy subdivision. We've advertised it in the paper. We believe it's going to be ready for your consideration. No, special circumstances to report. We are asking for approval with one condition. The reason why we asked for this condition is because of the timing and the collection of the taxes in association with the district. Otherwise, we do believe it'll be ready for you tomorrow and be happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Davenport? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on now to agenda item 6 for your consideration. 6A is an agreement for the services with Evidence-Based Associates. Mr. Ty.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Back in August, we presented you with a application for continuation funding for the Juvenile Justice Court, the low-risk program, and you approved, and we were awarded our full grant award of $99,000 for that particular grant. So now we have before you the service agreement with Evidence-Based Associates. That's the company that has been providing the management of the grant services for each of our grants for the past 3 years. This particular grant, the first time we received this funding was last year, so we just completed the first grant cycle. Had two groups go through the program. So Evidence-Based Associates is the company that we contract with to provide all the management and provide the grant services, and they in turn basically subcontract with Behavioral Health Services, who's a local provider, and that's who actually performs the counseling services. Just wanted to kind of clarify the difference in the two companies. But this agreement is to continue using Evidence-Based Associates as our service provider, and I'd be glad to entertain any questions you might have about the agreement.
Any questions from Mr. Ty?
Actually, you're talking about the behavior health right off of Oak Street, right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ty. Yes. Agenda item 6B is the service contract for the public service radio system. Mr. Weeks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is an annual contract. I come to you every year and ask for renewal on this. It supports the infrastructure of our public safety radio system. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Weeks? Okay. Hearing none, we'll just move on to agenda item 6C. This is the decommission and the removal of the old Motorola radio system, Mr. Weeks.
Yes, sir. We're finally there. New system is online. Everything's operational. Very, very robust system, working well, and we're ready to get all of the old equipment out of there and free up some space. And we've done some checking, and this appears to be the best deal for the county. I've got a company that will come in, and basically for the salvage value of the equipment, they will remove all of it and destroy any proprietary information that might be contained therein. I am saving anything that I see any future use for we might use here in the county, some equipment racks and some copper wire that was protected inside the towers, that type of thing. But I believe this is the best deal for us.
Any questions for Mr. Weeks?
Hey, Danny, how do y'all destroy it? I noticed it says destruction of old equipment. How do they destroy it? They just burn it or something?
There is a company that will take the equipment apart. They have the means of actually going in. They will melt the contacts off of the switches inside the radios and collect some of the precious metals that are there. Any proprietary information will be destroyed in this facility, and we will get a letter of destruction once that is accomplished. They have the means to take care of all that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you, Danny.
Agenda item 6D, LAS aerators. Mr. Stoughton.
Yes, sir. We're looking to replace a couple of the aerators with a little different style aerator that's supposed to do a better job, more efficient, give better oxygen dispersion, and a better mixing. The Eshelman Company has agreed to let us try these out for a 60-day period to assure that they will not be an issue with the ragging as in the past with the other aerators.
Any questions for Mr. Stout? Okay, thank you, sir. Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 6E. This is the grant reapplication for the Rural Transportation Program and the associated resolution. Mr. Fletcher?
Yes, sir. This is the grant renewal with the Georgia Department of Transportation for our 5311 Rural Transportation Program. For the year of 2014, we had 36,989 trips. During the upcoming year, we will be replacing one shuttle van with a lift and upgrading the replacement of computer software.
Any questions for Mr. Fletcher?
And I've got the contract in the room. If anyone would like a little light reading today or tomorrow, so.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 6F, the Solicitor General's VOCA. This is a new money award. Mr. Cabral?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. If you recall, in October, the board approved my office's continued receipt of a continuation grant under the Victims of Crimes Act, which funds a victim advocate position. We're pleased to announce that because of the availability of additional federal funds, the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, in conjunction with the Prosecuting Attorney's Council, is awarding additional grant monies for the purposes of hiring an additional victim advocate for all prosecutorial offices that are linked to the statewide case management system known as Tracker. Of course, our office joined Tracker in January 2013. This is all part of a statewide initiative so that prosecutors' offices can provide more victim services in a lot earlier point in the process. Traditionally, right now, we're kind of having to wait to receive information from law enforcement before we can make our first initial contact with victims. In conjunction with a magistrate court, we've worked out a protocol where ideally under this new program, we can make contacts with these victims prior to the defendant even having their first appearances. We're going to have a victim advocate in magistrate court, hopefully providing information to the magistrate and making determinations as far as bond and bond conditions. The award will be for around $49,268, which will generally cover salaries and benefits. We are required to match in the amount of $12,317, which we will match with volunteer hours through our internship program. Now, because this first year, the grant actually starts in October, the position won't be filled in December, we've been authorized to use those unused funds for training, education, and supplies and materials. And at this point, I'll entertain any questions the board may have.
Any questions for Mr. Cabral?
That's great.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Judge Parker, do you want to say anything?
Judge Parker?
I'll be
Welcome.
happy to speak if anybody wants to hear on what the benefit to the court would be.
I would.
Sure.
Just real briefly, as Justin said, all defendants are required to have a first appearance hearing. The law requires it within 48 hours, so we move very quickly. Defendants in Lowndes County are actually seen about every 24 hours because we have such a large volume. I couldn't wait 48 hours. I'd have too many on a calendar. So we do first appearance hearings every single day. And at that first appearance hearing, it's the advising of the rights, the reading of their charges, but it's also the setting of bonds. Most family violence charges do come as misdemeanors and not felonies, so they do run through state court. And so at that time, when I am determining a bond for a misdemeanor, because the law requires that I set a bond, I can't no bond them, they must get a bond, I have to consider restrictions or conditions on that bond to protect the victim. And usually, or currently what I have, it's just what law enforcement tell me when they apply for the warrant, and the defendant's criminal history. I don't have anything else. I can't make contact with the victim that quick. And the law enforcement's job is not necessarily to provide me with victim information or what victim may want or what they may need. Their job obviously is just to investigate and apply for the warrant. So I don't have a whole lot of information when I'm setting a bond at a first appearance hearing. Getting this information from the victim advocate that quickly will help us tremendously in determining not necessarily what the amount of the bond should be, because I've learned money is not the issue with most defendants. it's these restrictions, having no contact with the victim. You know, where is the victim going to live? Who's going to move out of the house, the accused or the victim? Certainly financial considerations, where the victim is employed, where they may attend school, daycare for the children. So this will help me determine what the appropriate restrictions will be or need to be to protect the victim when I set a bond. So this grant is unbelievable to me that we're going to have that access in Lowndes County so these victims can start receiving services and getting help really at the onset of arrest.
So the victim's advocate will testify during the bond hearing, or all this will happen before the hearing actually occurs?
I will be getting a report, is my understanding, that I will be getting a written report that I will consider.
Any other questions? Judge Parker, thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to come this morning.
Okay, we'll now move on to agenda item 6G. This is to set the qualifying fees. Mr. Pritchard?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, Georgia statute requires that the governing authority of any county fix and publish the qualifying fees for the elections to be filled in an upcoming, or the offices to be filled in an upcoming primary election. And these amounts are based on a formula that uses the base salary of each of the positions that will be up for re-election or election.
Any questions for Mr. Pritchard? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 6H. This is the 2016 holiday schedule. Mr. Beals? Mr. Beals?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the item before you is our 2016 holiday schedule. It's established through our personnel policy manual, which of course was adopted by y'all. When you look at that particular schedule, if there happens to be a holiday that falls on a Saturday, it's observed on a Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, it's observed on a Monday. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Beals? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we'll now move on to agenda item 7. This is the bids, and 7A is a bid on 3 pursuit vehicles for the sheriff's office. Ms. Black?
Yes, sir. We solicited bids to purchase 3 pursuit vehicles. These would be used for the HEAT grant and are covered under that grant. The grant allows a maximum amount of $95,088 to cover 3 fully equipped vehicles. These bids include a portion of that equipment, but there will be some additional equipment charges to complete those. We received bids from 3 vendors. Cass Birch on 2016 Dodge Chargers, a total of $72,891. Langdale Ford on 2016 Ford Police Interceptors, $79,512. And Wade Ford, 2016 Ford Police Interceptors, $80,343.
Any questions for Ms. Black?
I do.
Okay.
When we're comparing vehicles, like specifically, in this case, the Ford and the Dodge, do we have any history now that we've got some Dodge vehicles on the street, so to speak? Do we have any data that shows maintenance costs and?
I'm going to refer that to Ms. Cumbus.
Yes, sir, we do. I'd asked Tommy Folsom, he's our shop supervisor, to attend the meeting to answer any questions that you may have about the vehicles. You want to come up, Tommy?
Morning. Good morning.
I have some information on the past vehicles, like Dodge Chargers. We have a lot of front-end problems with them, engine problems. With the Ford, going back 15 years up until now, on the Ford, we've had a lot less problems. The engine performance has been better. I feel like safety, blind spots, and things like that are good in the Ford, whereas in the Charger, you have a lot of blind spots. If any of y'all driven the Chargers y'all have as your county commissioner's cars, You know, you got a lot of blind spots behind you. Also, the Ford, we're looking at in this particular situation, this car is designed especially for patrolmen. It has a roll cage design in it. It takes a 70-mile-an-hour impact from the rear, and it's shown that to withstand that. The economy of the Ford versus other cars is that the Ford uses less fuel on the highway as well as idling. There's a lot of idle time you have in the Ford or the Dodge, but it seems like that the Ford does better as far as the economic way of looking at it. The cars are very close as far as their performance goes and everything, but I think safety and integrity, to me, the way I look at it, is better than with the Ford. I just lean toward the Ford in that respect.
We have any other questions?
Do we maintenance those vehicles, or do Ford or do Dodge themselves maintenance those vehicles, or say a brand-new vehicle?
Sir?
Do we maintain or
Yes.
provide maintenance on the vehicle, or do we have the company do it?
We maintain those vehicles. Now, when they're in warranty and everything, of course, the dealers would take care of that. But after that, we maintain the vehicles every 4,000 miles.
This Interceptor, is it like a Taurus?
It is a Taurus. It's a high-performance, got a high-performance engine in it, but it is a Taurus, Ford Taurus.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question for perhaps Joe. If we do go towards a Ford, does that mean that the remainder of the sheriff's fleet will be consistent of Fords? Or the new purchases in the future?
Commissioner, I think that each time we would solicit bids, it would be a decision made based on recommendation, and then whatever vote the board would choose as far as which vehicle to select.
I know it's a difference of about 7,000, and I was just thinking if the future fleet is going to be Fords, that means the future costs are going to be higher at the end of the day, but ultimately it's about safety and what's in the best interest of the county, and that's what I was thinking along the lines of.
Any other questions? Any other comments? Okay, let's move on to agenda item 7B. This is the bids for unit cost pricing for graded aggregate base, curb and gutter material, and asphalt. Mr. Fletcher.
Yes, sir. The engineering department has solicited bids for asphalt base, graded aggregate base, curb and gutter, and asphalt to be installed in place. These items will be installed on county dirt roads where the public works construction crew is preparing them for pavement. The roads that we're planning on doing over the next 2 years are Phillips Road, the Burkhalter subdivision, Cannon Drive, and Terracewood Drive. Of course, those things can change, priorities could change as we need to, but our unit cost was based off of those 4 roads. And we would recommend awarding the proposal to the Scruggs Company and authorizing the execution of the contract.
Any questions for Mr. Fletcher? Okay. Hearing none. County manager's report.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'd like to give y'all an update on the signalization on North 041. Mike, can you give them those dates?
Yes, sir. We met with the contractor that's installing the signals, as well as Norfolk Southern, out at Tillman Crossing on Friday. And on the 19th, which will be next Thursday, we will have everything installed. The railroad will come in and with a train and do a test run on the railroad preempt to make sure that the preempt is working to not allow left turns on the Tillman Crossing when there's a train there. So all that will be installed by next Thursday. Our plan is next Thursday, if everything goes as we plan, is to put them in the flash mode The signals will go into flash mode on the 19th. And then on the 24th, which will be the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, we won't have school. Valwood will be out. Should be a lower volume of traffic out there. On the 24th, we will be going live with the signals. We will be getting with the Public Works Department in the meantime to put out message boards both on the north end and the south end of both of those signals to let folks know that they are coming. We're going to be working with the clerk's office to get advertisement into the paper as well.
Good. Mike, I'd like to comment. Again, thank you for the work on that project. I know that it was dropped in your lap, but we felt very, very strong about it. But I think even without the lights, even right now, traffic moves so much better through that area out there. Just without the lights, it's an improvement as it is. But as the lights come up, there is no doubt that folks living in those subdivisions, Tillman Crossing, all of that is going to improve greatly with the improvements that's been made on just that short section of 41 out there. So again, thank you for your work on that. Okay, any other business? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.